You're listening to Barbell Logic,
the podcast where we talk about what it means to experience strength
and how you can use simple, hard, and effective strategies in training and nutrition to improve your life.
It starts with meeting you where you are right now and finding lasting solutions.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Barbell Logic, to Beast Over Burden. Happy Tuesday. I'm your host, Niki Sims. With me is Andrew Jackson. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to pass this over to you because Andrew has proposed a topic.
Well, ever since you announced that we are the best podcast, what was it? How did you frame it? The best podcast in
podcast in the world.
In the world.
Maybe I said the greatest podcast in the world.
My DMs blew up the next day. What's it like working with Niki? Tell me about Niki. She's the host of the best podcast in the world. So I figure it's probably about time we do a Niki Sims Q&A. It's been a minute. So I have four...
Brace yourselves, everybody.
Sections, 4 different big topics that I want to ask you. One is just your coaching and training kind of philosophy. One is just about barbell logic, your personal insights, and then a little bit about the industry and trends. The future trends of the fitness industry.
Wow, okay.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Shoot.
You have not seen these questions ahead of time.
I have not. Just going to get on the spot answers.
So in the realm of coaching and training, the first thing I wanted to ask you is if you could share a particular memorable success story from one of your clients.
I might just do the first things that come to mind. And I'm sure after we're finished recording, I'm going to think of a dozen more experiences that I've had with my amazing clients. But one that stands out to me lately it's the daughter of another client of ours. I started working with her, I think, when she was 12 or 13. And her family lifts, they have a gym in their home. And so they also invite their community to come over and train. So it's like in her life. And she started to train and she wasn't like super comfortable with everything, it seemed like. And we had to work through some pain that she was having because there's some sort of like length discrepancy or something that was just like we were running our heads in the wall with a squat. So we had some troubles there, hit some roadblocks with a deadlift at some point. And so, but she kept showing up. She's really good. And, when you work with kids and their lifters, they don't have as much body control. They're kind of flaily, they don't have as much muscle yet. And that's okay. Like, that's why we're here. That's what we're doing, what we're doing. And some people are more chatty than others, but she was definitely on the not chatty realm. So I would be like always wanting to hear about how things were going. And I wouldn't hear anything until she would say, "This is really killing my back." And I'd be like, no, oh my gosh. I was just like, I don't ever want you to be in pain. And so I think that got better and better. We were able to get into a good groove. But recently we had a call and we were talking about some nutrition stuff actually. And I was like, "So how's your training going?" And she was like, "I love it so much. It's like my favorite thing to do. I can't wait to, I just love it so much. I don't know what happened, but I'm so into training now." And I just was like, I got the chills and just to and I could see it in her videos, especially comparing her to I also coach her brother who's younger than she is. And just how freaking dialed in she is. She is just setting the example. She looks so in control. And at this really cool age for her, she's a young woman. She has this, and I'm just watching this on a video of her in her gym. And I'm just seeing this control and confidence that she has. And I was just blown away at what that looked like for her. And to hear her say that she loved it, it was just so cool because it really felt like it was hers, training was hers. And I could even just see it in her behavior in the little glimpses that I get of her doing presses and her doing squats and her doing stuff like that. So I loved that. That was a really big moment of just her change in her physicality and her confidence. And she just seems like such a subtle badass. And I love that for someone at that age, for being just a young woman who's going through, I'm sure, so much stuff, but that was a big moment lately. Yeah.
I think that should be a band name.
Subtle badass.
All right. Question number 2. This one's actually a fan submission. How do you stay so motivated to train consistently? And what advice would you give to those struggling with motivation?
I stay motivated to train because it's become, maybe it has been for a long time, but it's like my favorite part of the day because I don't look at work anymore when I'm lifting. So I have like a really good boundary where it's just my time. It's my time to like listen to music and have some fun with my outfits. And because it always makes me feel good, like always, like in the moment and afterwards and in the long term. Like the long term feel goods are having muscle, wearing clothes that I feel like I look really good in, like getting to wear bathing suits and being like, I like how this looks. Like, that's pretty cool. I spent a lot of my life not really feeling that way. And like the investment, the time that it took to build muscle, like I want to keep having that because it wasn't a mistake. I didn't wake up with this like it took a lot of work and I want to keep that and it feels worth it to me. So like I know my training works to support that long-term benefit. And then like on the day-to-day, it's just a fun time for me to just like, have fun and be in my body and listen to music. And there have definitely been times when I've been dealing with injuries, like for all the fun times I have in the gym, there are definitely many times where I would go in there, start my workout, and start crying because some other life stress event or I was in pain. Like I had a big back thing for a while. I have a shoulder thing that keeps flaring up now. And I have learned that like I don't want to associate that with being in the gym. So now what I do when that happens is I'd start changing things right away because I just don't want to white knuckle through that anymore. It's not worth it because training is too fun and important to me. So if you find that you're like going to the gym and suffering, just know that there's another way. Like, have a way to make it a fun time. Like, make your gym a space that you enjoy. Like, treat it like an important part of your home, or pick a gym where you enjoy going to, not one where you feel uncomfortable or the commute is inconvenient or the equipment sucks. Like, build a space where you enjoy being because then you will find that you crave it. And why not make it a fun part of your day? It's super important. So I would say, like, if you're struggling with motivation, like, think about the things that you want out of that space and that physical effort for like the long term. Find something like a coach or whatever, a program that you know you can trust to get you there. And then make that time an important slot in your schedule in terms of setting boundaries to make sure it happens and then to make it fun for yourself. And know that you don't have to be in pain if you ever have to deal with that.
Excellent. On to Barbell Logic related questions.
Okay.
What has been your favorite episode or interview on the Barbell Logic podcast so far and why?
Whew, man, there have been a lot. A lot, a lot. Favorite episode. I like the ones when you, me, and Matt are together and we're doing like Q&As. Those are really fun. I like to have the team together and hear the questions that people are curious about and how all three of us see things differently. So I know there's not a specific one, but I like when all three of us get together to do like Q&As or talk about something because it's just like hanging out with my besties.
We should do another Q&A
Yeah, I
soon.
like this a lot.
What have you learned from hosting the Barbell Logic podcast that influenced your coaching approach?
From hosting the Barbell Logic podcast, I've learned that if I am going to say it, I need to make sure that I'm doing it with my clients.
A little integrity there.
Yeah. I always learn things from you and from whoever we're interviewing is, that's one of the cool things that I love about Barbell Logic itself is being on this team of people who know so much is we have so much information that we can use in our own stages of growth and to apply with different clients. So what I've learned is that it's really important and useful to say things out loud because I get a chance to develop my own understanding of it more and more as I am put on the spot and responsible for, putting it out there into the universe and wanting it to actually be useful to people. And then at the same time, like for you to say things that you're thinking through, and for Matt and for all of our guests, like being able to put them on the spot to try and articulate something, I think that is so useful. So, like, I guess I would say the opportunity to articulate your thoughts and put your learnings out on the table. For me, it gets to be on the podcast. We have other methods to do that at Barbell Logic with articles or with our learning club. But that is a useful exercise as you're coaching and trying to advance yourself. It's like kind of putting yourself on the line.
Perfect. So it created accountability for your coaching practice, sounds like.
Yeah.
Kind of a combination of you articulating the ideas and then having a sense of needing to follow through because you just said it out loud to your clients who are listening.
Yeah.
What are some of your personal fitness goals right now? How are you working towards them?
One thing that I'm chasing right now are some chin-up PRs, both for amount of weight for a single and then for number of reps. My previous 1RM is a 100-pound chin-up in addition to my own body weight. And then my max set, just an AMRAP, no added weight, is 18.
Or what was at the time the combined 100 pounds plus body weight?
I'd have to look online, but I typically weigh like 163 to 167 pounds. So I'm sure it's somewhere in there. But yeah, I would have to go back and see. So working on that. And then those are the most objective goals. But other than that, it's to have 4 fun training sessions a week. Like I've really had fun making my legs and butt more meaty. And I wouldn't mind if those got even meatier. But I like the upper body goal for the chin-ups because that keeps my back and biceps also getting meaty. And I like that.
More meat.
More meat. But I also, like, nutrition-wise, I like to eat to support that. But that's been an interesting learning curve because I need to eat more. Like, that meat's got to come from somewhere. And so kind of learning what it feels like at, like, newer body weights. And for me, that's as much as, or I feel and see 2 pounds really easily. So then it's kind of like, okay, well, what does that feel like? Do I like this? And so kind of learning how to dial back. And like, I still like to have the ability to get to 2 to 3 visible abs pretty easily. So I like to work towards that goal, but keep my nutrition.
That's like your fit test, like we talked about last week.
Yeah. My fit test is being able to have a couple of visible abs. That's important to me. And what I think is really neat, I don't know if a lot of people know this, is you can have visible abs and cellulite at the same time. So ladies, it's okay. Like, this is something that I've been embracing more and more, is it's okay. Like, cellulite is going to happen if you have skin. And if you're like over the age of like 16, even people who are younger than 16 have cellulite. It's just like, it's nice to just let go of that ridiculous expectation.
How do you balance? I mean, you have so many different responsibilities with Barbell Logic, personal life, family, friends, and self-care. How do you balance it all?
Making me seem very cool.
I actually got that question from Cool Guy 75 on Instagram. So it's another cool person that is interested.
I guess I would say, I think it's a quote from Gladiator. Sometimes I do what I want to do. The rest of the time I do what I have to. No, that's a little more
Seems
grim.
like it's the other way around.
I actually spend a lot of my day doing a lot of the things that I really enjoy doing. Yeah, I think I actually spend most of my time doing the things that I really enjoy doing and then trying to make the things that I have to do things that I also enjoy. So,
Okay.
like, there are some work things that I have to do. It's no secret that I don't really love being the HR person. So I try to make the HR of Barbell Logic something that I enjoy, which means it's hopefully something that everybody else at Barbell Logic doesn't feel like is this, like, like restrictive, scary department, So try to make it so that it's something that I enjoy as much as possible. And so just kind of navigating what that is. And I have really good friends. I get to travel a lot. So trying to make sure that I can spend most of my time doing the things that I really enjoy doing.
Who are some of your biggest influences or mentors in the fitness industry?
Matt, for sure, in terms of like the business aspect of it. You've been really influential in how I organize myself at work and try to like instigate change and what that looks like. Jillian Ward, really big inspiration of mine. She's actually currently my coach. But she's just this, wonderful muscle goddess who is also extremely thoughtful about what she does and why she does it and how it's different for each person. And she's totally open to learning. So I really love that about her and just her really extraordinary physicality. I think she's really amazing. I don't know if this counts, but I really think that Dan Campbell, the coach of the Detroit Lions, is a pretty cool coach.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I learned about him when I watched a season of Hard Knocks.
What did you take away from watching him?
I liked that he really connected with each of the players, and it didn't seem like he was running a business, even though it is like totally business. But he made passion such an important component of what they were doing while kind of accepting that, the Lions for a long time, the Lions just were like kind of a joke. He's like, he had so much faith that they were going to overcome that it was just like, he was the leader and he was so persistent, and it doesn't matter. Like, we are the Lions now and we're a really good team. So he just had so much faith in his team and passion for it. And I liked how real and funny he was, but he wasn't like a coach who was like an ass or, like a coach that you wanted to impress, but also wanted to be really open with, So I liked that about him. He seemed like a cool dude.
So, final section about the industry and future trends. This is what do you see in the future kind of category. So, I'm curious how you see the strength training industry evolving in the next 5 to 10 years.
Next 5 to 10 years. I think what will happen in terms of gyms is that Globo gyms are going to get better and better. There are a lot of boutique gyms now that have pretty good strength material or strength equipment, like great setups, great equipment, but they're boutique and private gyms and they're more expensive. But even Globo gyms, I go to 24-hour fitness and it's $45 a month, but they're getting better and better equipment. So I think the bar is being raised for what type of equipment to have at the gym. And it's going to be good equipment for building strength and building muscle that, is made by people who actually lift. And it's going to be more affordable to go to a gym that has really nice equipment. So I think that's going to be a really useful trend. I know that it's going to be really easy for people to get a lot of information from AI, like programs for, bigger biceps 3000 and glute body 45 inches. You can get a lot from an AI program and you can get a lot of information online from social media, but you still need the human connection and ability to adapt from a coach. I still think that coaching is going to be really important, but good coaching is going to be also a higher and higher bar. So just it's capitalism. So we're going to continue to evolve and see what people need and what works really well. And we're going to have more and more tools to make that happen. So I think it's just going to get better and we're going to be able to, I think, support the human connection of fitness because I think that's huge. That's why people go to gyms. That's why CrossFit took off. It's a growth experience. And when you go through that, it's really kind of challenging to go through it on your own because there are a lot of valleys and there's a lot of doubt. But when you're with another person or another group of people, that's what works. You get to see what it's like for someone else. You're supported by many. It's a community endeavor. So I still think the human connection component is going to exist and it'll probably be reinforced really well and supported by the tools that we'll have as technology advances.
On that note, how do you think technology is going to play a part in the future of fitness and coaching?
We've come so far, even in the last few years. I'm so curious what's going to happen in 5 years with, even with TKC, what we're able to do with our clients on the other side of the world and able to connect with them where we can, how I felt with Lydia, all I'm doing is watching her squat video or what I'm doing with that client I spoke about earlier is all I'm doing is watching her squat video and her press video, but I can feel how different she is, And so I'm really curious what tools we'll have that will enable that. Is there going to be more intuitive or more information in the form of biometrics that will be proven to be useful? Or will there be a way to have a training experience with a hologram of your coach where it feels even more personal, even though you're across the world? I'm not really sure. But I have a vision where like the software that we use is kind of like integrated into like wherever you are. My thought was the app that like TKC knows when I walk into a certain gym, it knows which equipment that gym has. And it says, on this piece of equipment, you'll do this much weight. And like even maybe the equipment itself will recognize it and it'll log it into the app myself.
Wow.
So things that we're like manually doing would be able to be tracked by the knowledge of the space that we're in and the equipment being also integrated into some sort of technology in that aspect. So it's like fewer clicks on things and more data. That's my way of saying it. Yeah.
Final question. What are some trends in the fitness industry that you're excited about or skeptical of? That could include social media fitness, that could include coaching, that include products, services.
Maybe it's just because of who I am in terms of a female who's 39 is my Instagram feed is full of a lot of pre-menopause, during menopause, post-menopause. There seems to be a lot of information about there right now.
I saw a post from Brett McKay.
I saw that too.
That all the girl boss influencers of the 2010s have become pre-menopause influencers.
Yeah. That's definitely been interesting. Yeah. So yeah, that's just interesting. And I think it's useful. You know, it's another important piece of information to have out there that's really interesting. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of like more information on like this is what your body looks like at this point in your cycle and this is what it feels like at this point in your cycle. And so kind of like that information has been a noticeable trend, at least on my Instagram feed, obviously. You're really the trend person. You're the person who tells me about trends.
It seems like within the space of the fitness industry, women talking about the importance of muscle mass and strength has
That has
become
definitely ticked up.
well, and I don't know if my feed is just biased, but there's just more and more, doctors, influencers.
Anecdotally, like I don't have that many friends, even though you made it sound earlier like I did. Like almost all of them recently have reached out to me and been like asking me questions about creatine and putting on more muscle. And I was just
And
like,
not just
finally, like we've been friends for over a decade and I cannot wait to give you this information.
and not just like muscle to make your butt bigger, although that's
Right.
part of it. It's recognizing the health and quality of life benefits.
Yeah.
That seems to be a huge trend that I'm going to be curious to see how that continues to evolve. But
Yeah, that's a good one.
you seem to be riding the tip of the glute bridges on that one.
Yes.
Hey.
What else? Crocs in the gym, ready for that one to go away. For sure.
How about mid-shin socks?
I have been
Are you excited
dabbling.
about that?
I have dabbled in that over the last couple weeks, and I actually really like them for myself. Just adds fun.
Millennials are under fire for the no-show socks now, from what I've seen. It's fun to see the Gen Z starting to pick fights with millennials.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like jeans right now are supposed to be short. So now you want me to have, I don't know. It's like, what do you want from me? What kind of ankle attitude are you asking for? Like, you want me to show off my ankles when I'm wearing these freaking too short jeans, but then you want me to cover them up when I'm wearing shorts or leggings? Like, it's super confusing what the ankle situation is right now.
Okay, boomer. On behalf of all of Gen Z, go shout at some clouds.
What do you want with your Crocs?
Well, those are all of my questions.
Thank you for those and for everybody who asked.
Thank you for joining us. Niki Sims Q&A. Yeah, we got a ton of just explosion of questions after you threw that out there. So, yeah.
Thank you for everybody. Well, who knows what you'll be in store for next week, but we'll be here for it. Hope you will as well. See you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.